What's up, guys? Welcome back to the YouTube channel. I'm Turbo John. You're on the Turbo John YouTube channel. We got a lot going on this week. A lot's happening. We went to the track last weekend. If you didn't see that video, go back a couple videos. Had a really good time. It was really fun. Got some good data, but we're trying to make it go faster. So I screwed it up. It was all my fault. I completely missed how much power I had in the car. I don't know what I was thinking. Well, I do know what I was thinking. I had the 710 tune-up where I had a lot of boost out back trying to get it to go a big mile per hour. Was not going to work at Piedmont, so it is what it is. Had a good time. Charles kicked me in the teeth, but we're back home. We figured it out. We're going to make a bar change on the car again. Going to take the top bar and we'll go back down one hole. That's going to give me about 130% anti-squat. We're going to see what happens. I appreciate y'all joining in. Comment, like, and subscribe. Head on over to turbojohnracing.com. Grab yourself some hats and t-shirts. Out too, it's made a comeback. This is the old wing that we had on the race car that we wrecked. It is got lead in it. It weighs about 80 pounds. So I also raised the wing up on this one. If y'all noticed on the last video, a lot of people did the airflow going across the top of the car. This was actually sucking back up. Now think about airflow, how it comes off the top. It's not going to ever stick exactly to the back of the car window here. Now we were not running a hood. So, you know, not having a hood on it could be having an issue with airflow. So next time we take it out, we are going to have the hood on it, got all that stuff fixed. So it is there. So we're going to try it. We also raised the wing to get it up in a higher airstream to see if it works. But I was thinking about possibly putting this wing on, having two wings, having this wing for when we're doing like the front side stuff where we don't need a bunch of weight in the back. And then when we're doing backside stuff, we put the weighted wing on it. But I don't think we're going to do that just because that thing is so heavy. It is 80 pounds and awkward. So that's probably not going to get put on back on there. So race car wise, that's all we're going to do. I do need to change the oil in it. We're planning on racing this weekend at 710 backside, but they canceled it because of the weather. Hopefully we can find some testing. Maybe they'll be able to do some test and tune action anyway. So hopefully it'll work out. I need to change my sensor here. My old one went bad, and this is a factory one, but the little clip thing's gone. So we had it taped on. So I got another sensor to do that, to go there. Thinking about redoing the fuel lines. I've started ordering some Brown & Miller line. Get it all used off of eBay. And so the way I have this thing run now is fed with a number 16 from the tank to the pump. And then it comes up, and that's a number 10 out, goes through my filter. And then it comes into one fuel rail and then goes into the back, crosses over number 10, comes out this fuel rail and goes to the regulator. Not the best, not the most ideal fuel flow scenario. Typically, what you do is you come out of the top here, go through a number 12, and then you split it to two number 10s, feed the rails, and then come out of the rails and then go into the regulator. But I've had really good luck doing this on my old car. But my old car was a little bit different animal. I had a number 12 crossover in the back, and I had bigger fuel rails. And so this is a 990 Enderley pump. This pump will flow, I think this pump flows 13 or 14 gallons a minute. So it's a pretty good pump. But we may end up changing that, doing it the traditional way. So I started ordering some lines and some Ys, so we're just going to have to redo it to make it work. And the reason why, I'm going to go ahead and pull the spark plugs out here in a few minutes. I haven't changed them in a while, so we need to do that. But the last time I had the plugs out, all of these cylinders over here were a little bit leaner than the ones over there. And so I added fuel to them. And so basically what I did is this cylinder up here was the leanest it looked like. And so we added like 5% and then 4% or 3%, and then like 2 back there in the back, I think it was. Or it was like 2, 4, 6. I don't think it went more than 5 or 6. But so we did add it. So I wanted to even that up. And, you know, people do that all the time. They modify their fueling based on the airflow. But I think our airflow is pretty consistent. So I think that's a fuel flow issue that we got going on there. So other than that, changing the oil, hopefully we can get testing this weekend is the goal. That's the game plan. It's supposed to warm up a little bit. It's not going to be super, it's not going to be super hot or cold, I don't think, the weekend. It does appear that our oil leak is now fixed. So that is good. I'll probably go over the intake bolts there. probably gonna pull the valve covers off of it and just go through the rocker arms. It's been a little while. Those T and D rockers, though, I mean, it's one of those things. I think it was Steve Morris. You know, he was talking about how, and he's right, 100%, that unless something changes, so unless you start tulipping a valve or you start crushing a lifter or something changes, you should not have to go through rocker arms all the time if you're adjusting them properly. And so we have this handy dandy, let's see, this is my nice little tool cart that I got for Christmas, Amazon. This tool right here, this LSM tool, this thing is amazing for adjusting rocker arms. It gets the right torque every time. It's got a big fat handle, a little torque wrench. It pops when you do it. So I'm gonna go ahead and pull the plugs out now. This is a block that I think we got it from, I think Devin ended up giving it to us. So you can see it's got the Ford pattern and then the Chevrolet pattern. Ford's on top, Chevy's on the bottom. So we're gonna pull out the plugs. I'll show you what the plugs look like in a minute. Hang on. All right, boys. Well, I got the spark plugs out. It has been a minute since I have taken these things out. As you can tell, they do not look the best. The information you can get from these plugs is pretty strong. It is basically that the straps are still there, and we have not leaned it out so much that we have killed it. I'm going to put plugs in it, and then we'll be ready to go testing here in the next few days, hopefully, is the game plan. Hopefully they're going to do it. They canceled the race, but I think we can find some testing somewhere. So last thing I got to do is just drop the pan down and change the oil and change the filter. All right, boys. Well, I decided to clean these spark plugs and see how clean they would get. So the front row here is being cleaned, and those turn out pretty good. Actually, I'm going to probably put those back in the engine because the next few weeks, I'm not going to be racing in a place where I'm going to be leaning on it and needing to read spark plugs. So one other thing I wanted to show y'all real fast. Look, there is no rubber back here. This is a Randy Eller trick. I don't know if everybody else does it or not, but I sprayed WD-40 on this thing. So WD-40, let it sit for 20 or 30 minutes, and it mostly wiped right off. I had to take a few paper towels or a few soft rags, and between those two, I was able to get it off. But I just purchased this. I don't know how it's going to work, but we're going to try this as well. But the WD-40 did do a good job getting it off. North Carolina snow. This is the Amazon warehouse here in Smithfield. Apparently, that's a lot of trucks. I guess they got shut down for the day or something. I guess the snow, which was a lot of snow on the ground, but now it's kind of not as much. But wow, that is crazy. All right, so Amazon, if you got something at Amazon today, you might not be getting it. All right, boys, so in the race car trailer here, almost all race cars have Zeus fasteners. They're quarter-turn fasteners. That's the best way to mount fiberglass parts, the hoods, the front ends. Randy and his guys down at the beach, they're the ones that set all this stuff up. We got 2 down there, 2 here, and then Brandon built us a nice tree under the front, so we don't need any Zeuses in the front. But there's a lot of Zeus fasteners in this hood, and the reason they put this many in here is because fiberglass hoods are pretty flimsy. The first time I ever had a fiberglass hood, I only had one in each corner, and it didn't work out so well. It ended up blowing apart, blowed off the car. So we got a lot in this one. So he put 4 up here in the front, 7 on the sides. We got a total of 18 Zeus fasteners holding the hood to the front end. And so one of the things that's a problem, and I've had these break a lot because I've been doing it wrong, is everything has to be perfect, right? So if this is not perfect, the length, the hood placement, it doesn't line up. So essentially what you do is this thing here, there is spring on the back plate here. Take an 1/8 inch pop rivets, and then you pop rivet those guys right onto the fiberglass. So this is the problem that you make. See how that one is bent up? They actually make a tool to where you can adjust that spring height. I'm gonna show you that because I bought that. You can also buy these springs in different lengths, so they're a little bit closer because it's a working system. So you have the quarter-turn Zeus fastener up here, and then these are different lengths. 500 is the standard, and then they make 600 and 650. The way this one is designed, when we put this one together, Brandon was like, dude, he's like, you're going to have to get very long Zeus fasteners. So these are 650 long. And you can see the difference. That's a 500, and then that's a 650. So that is a huge difference. But what I wanted to show you guys, the way this thing works is from up top here, you push this down, and then as you're pushing it down, you have to lightly turn it. And so it goes in and it goes around that piece. And you see right there, this is what the problem is. This is how you end up breaking them. Like it's spinning on it, but it's not exactly in the right spot. And so then you end up pressing. And so if you press down on this, remember this is just aluminum on this Zeus fastener, it will 100% break the spring, or it'll pull this off if it's all bound up. So it can't be bound up. So I see people all the time, you take this and it doesn't go in, or it kind of gets stuck, and you put a lot of pressure on this. You're pushing down on it really, really hard, but that doesn't do anything. That's not the right thing. You want to make sure you're lightly spinning it. And if it's wedged, if it's not going down, like right there, it's not going down. So sometimes you have to move it just ever so slightly. And then sometimes you just gently turn it, and then boom, it'll pop down. So there's like no pressure. Look, that's the key. No pressure. And then when you turn it, it goes in and it locks and it pulls it up. So very, very easy. But all of these, in this hood, the way it's set up, I can start at the very front, and once I get the front ones done, all of these should be able to go down. But you have to make sure that you are very gentle with the Zeus fasteners. A lot of times I get in a hurry, and that's where you get problems, because the hurriness, pressing down on them hard will break the Zeuses, or it will break the springs loose from the fasteners in the back. And so if this one can go down, like this one has a little bit of pressure, but it's not super hard, which is perfect. So I don't have to adjust these springs. And I've already adjusted these. But I'm gonna show you the tool real fast. It's at the house, but I will show you the tool that you use to adjust these. It's pretty cheap, pretty easy. So I guess if you have a race car, I had never really thought about it before, but you need to have a selection of 1/8 inch pop rivets, aluminum or steel. The aluminum is what most people use on these up here. You can get them in black or silver, whichever one you want. A lot of people use the 1/4 turn fasteners that are the slotted. That's fine. If you're using the ones that have the 3/16, let me show you something else real fast too. There's a couple people that make these, but you need to have some of these Allens actually in. Everybody, a couple crew members need to have it. You need to have a couple in your car. Let me show you something else that's pretty cool. CJ Race Cars actually makes this tool, and it is really amazing. It's real easy to use. You don't have a lot of leverage, and that's one of the things I like about it, because this right here tool is very, very easy to mess stuff up. So let me go show you that real fast. I'm gonna show you those two things, and then we'll be right back. All right, boys, here is the Cameron Johnson Race Cars tool. It mounts right here to your roll cage. This is phenomenal. It works great. You don't have too much leverage. It's got a little O-ring so it stays in there so you don't lose it. Really, really cool. Go check them out, Cameron Johnson Race Cars. So this one right here is a perfect example. I just had to replace the pop rivet where the spring is attached to the body, because we broke it because it was a little hard to get on. And so this one, if you listen to how that one is a lot harder to get on. So you want it to grab. I'm gonna leave that one loose. So what I'm gonna need to do is go in there with my tool and then bend that spring up, and then it'll make it a lot better. Hang on. All right, guys, so we got those Zeus fasteners fixed. That tool is pretty cool the way this thing works. Got this thing off like jegs or something. It works like a champ. You literally stick it down in there, grab it, and then tighten this up, and it pulls it up. A lot of people, you pull those up with pliers, but that's much easier to use this proper tool. Guys, but that's gonna work. That's gonna be it for this video. Just a little update. We'll be testing soon. Hopefully soon you'll have a video out on Randy's car with fire in the hole. Appreciate it, guys. See ya.